Welcome everybody. We are back for the third part of the short and sweet Fischer Random Chess Chessable course, and again we have with us International Master Balint Nachihajizi. So
Hello.
okay, welcome Balint.
Thanks for invitation, Jan.
You're always welcome, of course. So, I think it is 9:30. We should start right away without a long chit chat. So we just, as always, have to explain what the course is about. It is a chessable course, and it is about Fischer Random. Fischer Random is 960 or freestyle chess, and Grandmaster Wesley So, Super Grandmaster Wesley So, was explaining in the first two parts, what do you have to look out for playing 960, and he was analyzing one of his games against Magnus Carlsen for us, where he got the first Fischer Random Chess World Championship title. That was a very cool session, I think, and very instructive, at least for me, and it was nice to also see him on video, of course. So, what's happening here? He explained in the first two parts the castling rules and his thought process, and the third part now is intro to tactics. And this is not so much related to 960, except that I learned 960 is tactics right away out of the box. You're right into tactics because you have 960 ways to enjoy the game, as it's said here on the title. And it's really just straight in tactics and off you go. So this has, of course, a major emphasis, the tactics, and that's why Wesley So put it into the course. Yes, that's it. So if you like the course, you can also get the full course. This is a free course. It's called Short and Sweet. And the full course is called The Ascent, Wesley So's Fischer Random Strategies and Tactics. But we are doing the short course. Okay. So, Balint, if you are ready, then we start with the review sessions, because every chessable course basically gives you reviews. You are presented some positions that you have to solve, like puzzles, and if you get it right, that one will be put down all the way to the bottom of the stack of puzzles that you have to review, and the ones that you get wrong will be up on top. So you are learning exactly what you need to learn. So you don't have to repeat 100 times what you already know, but you have to repeat what you don't know. And that's why this MoveTrainer or called spaced repetition method is working so well.
Exactly. Very nice to make to repeat rule about castle, and if I remember what was that was the most important thing we learn for now.
Yes. And center control, I also remember. Center control, castling rules, and then just tactics. So I click on review here, and we take a look. It's only 3 that we have to do. And this is so funny. It is out of the introduction, Nakamura against Carlsen. And here it was about castling. It's white to play. And can white castle? That is the question. So, to the queen side, he cannot castle because there are just, the queen is in the way and so on, and these squares are taken, but he can castle to the king side. And I learned it's just putting it on the rook, and that's what we needed to do. And I suggest for everyone who likes to start out playing 960, try the castling all the time, and you will find out how it really works. Because sometimes when I started, I thought I would be castling, but then it was just a king move, or it didn't work at all, and so it just needs some training, I guess. Yeah. Okay, and we have chess with Excelsior. Was a fun game we played earlier. Yes, I remember, Excelsior. We played in the Untitled Tuesday. I will take a look at that game again and will probably reach out to you. Thank you for joining in here. Really nice of you.
Yeah.
So welcome. Mhm.
Hello, welcome.
Mhm. Okay. So, and of course, if you have questions to the course here, don't hesitate. Just reach out and we try to cover your questions as good as we can. Okay. So here we have a situation out of Wesley So versus Magnus Carlsen. Black can't afford to take this pawn. It is white to play. Okay, it is white to play, and to me it looks like we are close to a checkmate, because if the knight goes c7, it's check. There's only one place for the king to go. It is a7, and we have a lovely checkmate on b7 because the pawn is also protected by the knight. And we'll try. And checkmate. And Balint, I don't know about you, but if this would work for every single blitz game that I play, like seeing it so fast and everything, I would be so great.
Just model. Do you know the name of this for this checkmate?
I started another course. It was called Checkmate Patterns, and I had like 26 different checkmate names to learn, but I didn't finish it. So here I have no clue, Balint.
Every checkmate. I don't know. Maybe we have some even deeper differences between these checkmate patterns,
Mhm.
but every checkmate with a knight and rook, I believe that is Anastasia checkmate.
Ah, Anastasia's checkmate. Okay. Yeah, I heard that and I learned it, but forgot it. What I never will forget is the blind swine mate. I remember it because it just has this lovely name, of course. Okay, so I'll probably return to that course later on, and then I really try to find out, and then I will quiz you, Barland. Okay, so
Okay.
so next variation and last variation before we really start to go into the game, and here it is again, Grandmaster Wesley So with this talent ho 10. How can Black castle? And here Black cannot castle to the queen side because we have pieces in between, but we can castle to the king side, and for that again I have to take the king, put it onto the rook, and it's castled.
Exactly.
Righty.
Yeah. Last time, if I remember, last time we had small mistake about that. So every time it's important to, because of technical reasons, king must go on the rook spot,
Mm-hmm.
and then otherwise you play. I believe you play king f8 or something like that, or maybe you
Mm-hmm.
have a mouse slip.
Yeah, and it was just
Anyway,
a king move. Yes. Mm.
so just hit the rook just exactly on put the king exactly on the same square in
Yes.
that move,
Mm.
and that is the way how will program recognize that
Yes.
your will to make a castle.
Correct. So we are now into the overview screen here, and it tells us we have 3 chapters. 1 is done, 2 is done, 3 is still open, and we have 22 variations to make today. And if we do all 22 today, we'll see how long we'll can keep up our attention, of course. I'm just shortly curious, just take a look. So for every review you do, you get points. Yeah. And I am at place 182 in this course. So I'd like this gamification. I love gamification. It really motivates me to climb up the ladder. But sometimes we have just people who I think have nothing else to do than doing the repetitions because they have so many points. Yeah, like they just try to stay on top forever on the leaderboard. But again, it's all about me learning, and I shouldn't take a look at other people. It's just a nice additional feature, I think. Okay. So then we just click on learn and see what's happening. So we are here into the intro to tactics tab, and it is about weak pawns. And we just read what it says. It says weak pawns, of course, and the quiz is white to play. We don't have the usual setup because it's 960, Fischer Random, or Freestyle Chess. And now we have to find out, is there a weak pawn? So what I'm doing when I start a 960 game, right at the beginning, I'm checking my opponent's pawns. Is there a weak pawn that I can just attack that is maybe not defended? And so I just take a look. We have, to me, it's a weak pawn, the G7 one, because it's only defended by the king. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So if I take a quick look here, I could take that one with the bishop.
Jan, I believe you'll be capable to solve all 22 tasks for very fast.
We'll see.
Standard,
We'll see.
standard tactical maneuvers, ideas. We just have some strange situation with the knight on c8 or cover bishop or immediately open on the fianchetted diagonal. But anyway, the same story.
Yeah.
Take care about the king, how you can give a check, some squares around king, and you mentioned that g7 is vulnerable, so standard stories.
Yeah. Okay.
But we'll see some interesting moments how strange these pieces could be arranged at the beginning. So some weaknesses could be really fast exposed, right? In third or fourth move, like f7 in classical chess, vulnerable square protected only by the king. In this situation, we have the same story with a strange situation where we have bishops immediately on the longest diagonal, like in this position. I don't believe this is I don't know, fourth move, and immediately it's over.
Okay, so before we go into it, I just see there's a comment from Andrew Pevar on YouTube, and he asks, what is the blind swine mate? The blind swine mate is if you have two rooks on the 2nd or 7th rank and are able to mate with them. Yeah, the king usually is on the 1st or the 8th rank, and then you just bring over your rooks and mate the king. That is the blind swine mate, in short. Okay, so Balint, here I would take the pawn, and that was not correct.
Why?
Yeah, now I get it, of course. Okay, so if he tries to prevent the checkmate, move order, as always. So if he prevents the checkmate, I get his bishop. So, and with my move order, taking first, it is just winning a pawn. And of course, winning the bishop is way better than winning a pawn. So,
Pawn, exactly.
I scratch my head and I won't move that fast anymore. Yikes.
Okay.
Okay.
You promise?
I promise. Okay.
Okay.
So, okay, and it is already over. No explanations, but let's see if Wesley So gives an explanation for this one here. I click on play and we'll see what he says. If he says something, I don't know.
Hi, in this video we'll go through some tips and a little bit of strategies for Fischer Random and Chess 960. The difference between Chess and Chess 960 is that in many Chess 960 positions there are one or two undefended pawns in the camp. They're weak pawns and critical pawns that need to be kept an eye on. So we should all be familiar with the pawn weaknesses in our camp. Usually like f2 or f7, But in this case, the weakness in the camp is the G pawn. So G2 is only defended by the white king, and also G7 is only defended by the black king. And in this current example, actually, white has a tactic that could take advantage of this weak pawn on G7. So black played the opening poorly. He played D5 on move 2, and after e takes D5, he took with the bishop. Now he's got two undefended pieces. He's got two undefended forces. So the pawn on G7, the bishop on D5, and he's only got one defender for the pawn on G7. That's the king, and white has one attacker on G7, this long-range bishop on G7. So here in this position, white could actually win a pawn with bishop G7, followed by king G7, queen E5, in check, winning the bishop. Enough to win material. But also there's an even better move, queen E1 to E5, by the way.
I learned it the hard
to
way.
give checkmate on G7, and also threatening to win the bishop on D5. And black has no possible moves that will defend both G7 and D5. So
I'm sorry, Jan, I have one suggestion.
Yes.
Instead of watching these videos, maybe should be more interesting to explain with your words, and I'll be here to judge is that move correct or not. We don't need so deep explanation about this. I believe it's clear.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of Wesley So, I think it's better to show to tell your words and your way how you figure out this, because the tactic is tactic everywhere. In chess 960 or classical chess, this is a pattern about double attack, and after just one move you will get the winning position.
Balint, I'm so happy that you're saying this, because right at the moment when we started the video and I was seeing this, I was thinking like, wow, this is super boring now. Yeah, if I would do the course alone by myself, it would be helpful and I can check if everything was right. But as we're doing this together, and I just explained it, I think, pretty well, except for making then the wrong move. Yeah, I think this is a pure repetition, and we are ready to move to the next section.
Literally, yeah, exactly. You said everything what needs to be just so speaking, slowly, and obviously it is.
Okay, thank you.
It is the reason why this movie is the best.
Very helpful, and I think good. Okay, thank you. So we have awkward pieces on the first rank. So we check the awkward pieces on the first rank. Let's see here. Who are the awkward pawns?
So you have a hint with the words. So
yes. So I think
this is.
Yeah, the rook on G1 is awkward because it's not defended, and the pawn in front of him, like here on F7, is already gone. So if I somehow could attack it, it would be probably real nice. And I think the best move here is queen to C5, because it attacks that rook.
Exactly.
And there's no way to, really defend it. Like, he could bring up the pawn, the bishop, I take it. He could bring up the queen, I take it. And then I just, straight go to.
We have, in classical chess, we have similar position like this, or just similar trick. And that happens in Queen's Gambit. Do you know that pawn sacrifice, d4, d5, after that c4, that Queen's Gambit idea to sacrifice the pawn, and when you take a pawn, e3, if black starts to protect that pawn with b5, then at the end, after a4, c6, ab5, cb5, we have a queen f3. Queen takes the longest diagonal, aiming the rook on a8. I know it's maybe difficult to imagine, but anyway, the same story. Rook stays open completely without pawns. As you can see in this position, we have a pawn chain g2, f3, e4, d5. Very long pawn chain, but completely exposed that a7, g1 diagonal. Also, the problem is queen doesn't protect some squares and completely badly spotted two knights on h1 and e1. So rook immediately stays under without help, and he's going down literally next move, or some pieces must be knight f2 sacrifice to take h1 for the rook for escape.
And
But
Bali,
anyway, piece goes down.
yeah. Do you know what I
sorry?
find
Yeah.
most interesting? It is that you think I'm able to follow when you're telling me squares. I was able to follow the first 3 or 4, and then I was just like taking a look at the board here, and then thinking where, when, what, and then you just kept on saying moves, and I was just like, I'm lost. I have no clue. But of course,
That is really old trick in Queen's Gambit. So Queen's Gambit, when White goes with a d4, d5, and c4, that Gambit story, do not take that pawn, or you can take that, but do not try to protect him because of vulnerable longest diagonal h1, a8, and then we have queen f3, the rook goes down. The same story as we have here. So yeah, queen c5.
okay.
Some of the viewers, I believe, should know that trick, of course.
Yes, I believe so too, yes. And
If you want, I'll show you after.
yeah, we just keep it in mind, and then we take a look at the end. That's okay. Okay, so next variation, I believe. So this time the text doesn't give me a hint. It's Sergei Grigorians versus Alessio Viviani, and it's white to play. So if I am white, I have to check what's happening here, what is hanging, what's going on, and so on. So I have a lovely first move. I think it is bishop b3. But for bishop b3, he can bring up the pawn. I could take the pawn. He, has to take with the bishop, or I just move on to d6. So it's just an in-between battle. So basically with that I win the rook. Otherwise it's mate. That is my first idea. So let me check if there's anything else on the board. Am I attacked by anything? It's my move.
I believe to make these problems easier, we need to take two patterns from the classical chess. First of all is how we can give a check. That is the first one. And second one, very important story, is unprotected piece. So in the last moment, in last two positions, that was a story about unprotected pieces. d5, for example, at the first moment, bishop on d5 unprotected, later rook on g1 isolated solo. So if we can attack that piece or make a double attack, that's it. I believe in next examples, everything will be connected with some check stories. So vulnerable squares around the king, as we have in that example first, number one.
Yeah, my thinking tactic is always think first about checks, then about takes, and then about threats.
Exactly. So how it's possible to get a check and then everything
Yes, it is bishop
goes after that.
b3. No other check in sight. So I'll just do it. I really believe it's okay. But we have something else. Hold on. I'm just thinking again about the pawn situation here, what happens. So if he brings that one up and I take with the bishop, then with the pawn, then we have a problem here, but this is defended by the knight. So I just go here and it is okay. And he doesn't explain via text why it is okay. So Balint, let me just check what happens if he now puts the
I will help you. I will help you with that explanation.
okay. Mm-hmm.
So basically, will he play rook f7 to give you some quality? No, he will not. The other moves, he can cover that with the bishop, queen, and pawn, theoretically, right? So all pieces, pawn d5, bishop
That
d5,
one,
queen
pawn.
d6, and rook f7.
Yes.
So the most logical and forced move is move d5.
The pawn, yes.
Black will push d5 pawn. And after that, of course, if you still want some pressure, you will not take that with your bishop, because after that, the fire is off. Bishop d5, and you have to take with the pawn, without check, without threats, giving just one move for black to save some of his weaknesses. Instead of that, another forced move is if you take that with your pawn, because your turn, I'm threatening the same, d6, right, to open that vulnerable diagonal, and obviously black cannot cover that on the proper way. Maybe he can block that pawn. First of all, when you push d5, white just takes that and he's pawn up. After that, black has to play another defensive move like knight d6, giving up another pawn, queen e5. And in that case, I believe you are immediately much better, because you are two pawns up, and also you have a threat to trade the queen with a queen e6. And with that move, you are digging deeper to unblock that pawn. Queen e6 is almost checkmate. If he trade the queen, you will take again with your d pawn, again threatening e7 check to have a discover attack with this bishop on b3. So he's sniper on the roof, and no one can touch him, and no one can block him. Everyone who step in front of him, between him and king, just die.
And I was able to follow without moving pieces on the board, Balint.
Bravo. So just push yourself, and it's not super now, super science.
Just don't be so fast when explaining. I really need to take the time for C, and then
sometimes I'm just emotional, and I'm blah blah blah.
I know.
I need to slow down. Okay, but yeah, you understand this.
Okay, so it's black to play, and let's see again what could be done. Of course, again, chat, if you seeing it faster, just write into chat. Andrew was just writing. Sorry, you guys know I have this monitor here and the chat monitors there. So sometimes I just take a look at the game monitor instead of the chat. So Andrew was saying, any tips to notice the loose pieces like the variation you gave? d4, d5, c4, like I've missed a queen d5 tactics like this. Okay, so Andrew, I believe that was to the past situation, and I'll take a look a little closer to the chat window for next time. I hope that is okay with you. All right, so sorry for missing that while we had the other one up on the board. Okay, so here, what do we have? Let me check.
Yeah, this one is slightly heavier.
So I would start with the, well, we have checks, two possibilities. One is the knight to d3, check. He could, and it's a fork too, also attacking the rook on e1. So then I would defend that with the bishop, of course, taking.
Exactly.
Then I could take the bishop, and it's attacking my knight, his knight on e2, and if he likes to save it and goes away, I can fork him on d2 with the pawn because it's defended by the rook on d8.
Yeah, exactly. So completely, fully correct. Nothing to add. Believe me. Even
So-
if we're listening, Wesley, so he will say the same, maybe less than you said.
Okay,
So
here we go. This one and this one. Yep, and now I just snag the knight. Okay, that was very cool. And Barlind, I calculated 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plies. Usually I do only 2. Okay. And just in case, chat, you don't know what a ply is, P-L-I, it is a half move. So a half move is called a ply. 2 plies are a full move, like white and black. Okay. Good. And I was so embarrassed, Barlind, when I played my first over the board tournament in May last year. I played a very nice game, I think it was, and then with my opponent after the game for the post-mortem, we went to a female national player who was doing the analysis for the tournament, and she took a look at my games and she said, Jan, you know what you really have to work on? It is thinking ahead more than 2 plies. And I'm just like, yes, thank you. But it was really, really nice. And sometimes I struggle with it because it's just lack of visualization or something, or just thinking there is nothing. But she's always said, at least you have to think 3 plies. That's the shortest amount you have to think ahead.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Super. So after this, you basically solve everything, piece up, winning position.
Yeah, here we have
Yeah.
a text hint. It is smothered pieces. This theme is related to the awkward placement of pieces on the first rank. Pieces can get trapped and smothered more often than in regular chess. So, what comes to mind is the king looks very smothered if I bring my knight to d2. So how can I get rid of the defender? The defender is the queen. I think I could attack it with the bishop from g8. I go to c4, attack it. If she takes it, I just, well, as I said, place the knight on d2, and we have a checkmate with also a fork to the queen, which is not necessary anymore. But I saw a retreat square for the queen, and that is the rest of the, well, basically it's only one, and that is d4. So she still could go to d4 and would still defend. And then how can I attack that? I would.
So how to attack the queen on d4 square? Imagine immediately transfer these pieces in your head. So basically, you have starting position. Just try to upload this in your mind, and later just with visualization you can just move your pieces in your head, so you can close your eyes, imagine the board, and then imagine next, as you said, one ply, second ply, and three ply in front. And bishop c4, only square for the ladies, d4 to protect deadly square, d2, right, avoiding smother mate. And
I would
now
go
we have another job to move her again.
Queen f6.
I think it's not the best move. Queen f6 gives white some strange way to defend. That is a knight takes on e4. Taking the knight protects the d2 pawn. Instead of that,
Correct.
you
Yes,
should
yes.
attack. Sometimes attack must. We have different types of attack. Someone telling me that I attack him. How you attack him? With your rook, you attack his rook. So that is not attack. You must
The
attack. If
pawn,
you said
pawn,
attack,
pawn
that
c5.
must be something cheaper than that piece cost. So pawn c5, exactly. I thought either knight e5 works, but that doesn't work because he can go back on e2. And if we continue with bishop c4, white has d3 move, and to cover that attack, and queen stays pretty safe on e2. So you can go, you solve that, bishop c4 for sure.
Yeah, I'm just checking the knight thing. Yes, correct. Okay, so we go. Correct, and now the pawn move also correct. And
Again,
now we have
some stuff
smothered.
about how to give check, or where is the most vulnerable square
Okay,
for king. Cool.
good. Alrighty. So the next one, no text hint. It's black to play.
No text hint. Well, this is pretty standard story,
Oh, you already
right?
saw it. I just have to find out what are the pieces on the board. Okay.
You have a long castle, the hetero castles, everything normal. Rook lift on a5, knight on c4, vulnerable square b2. Some geometrical story with the queen and queen on f3 and rook on d1. So will we play something like bishop g4 or f5? I'm sorry. Yeah. Think about this. Think about your move. Yeah.
Always remember, Balint, I'm very old.
Just pyramid story. First of all, king, unprotected piece, geometrical stuffs, some possibility to get check, and very fast you are climbing up to the correct solution. Anyway, take your time. Sorry to
Thank you.
speak a lot.
It's needed.
Yeah.
It's needed for sure. Okay, so this looks totally strange to me because I don't see something immediately. What I do always first is I see if are there any checks. And I see only one check, that is the queen move. It is d4. So then I will just be retaken and I lost my queen and would be very unhappy. So that cannot be the move to go for. So we have a take, which is next. And, well, the only pieces that I could take, they all look super bad to me. So maybe it's a sacrifice story with the knight takes on a4. He retakes, my queen takes. Now we have a check. He has to go away, and then I have a lost knight.
Exactly.
So
First of all, also for someone, knight a3 is a forced move, b a3, but it's not,
Hold on,
White
hold on.
can
Knight,
give up.
hold on. Knight a3, yes. Okay, then
Not
again.
knight a4, knight a3. Someone thinks that ba3 is a forced move. Actually, it's not. You know, you don't need to take, and you'll waste one tempo to take a pawn and one tempo to go back with your knight. Right? For that time, White maybe can arrange something stronger and some making some bigger threat. Instead of that, if you scan every piece, you know, one by one piece by your opponent, you'll see one piece is in some uncomfortable situation. You can use that and you can expose her.
Yeah.
Find which one is the most vulnerable
Just in the
piece.
meantime, sorry for interrupting. Andrew Kivar, if you're still in the chat, F5 was totally correct in the situation earlier. And I again forgot to take a look at the chat. I'm so sorry. So if you're still in there, it was correct. And I again took a look too late. Please just give us your suggestion for this position right now. This would be cool. And I'm taking a look then here. Okay, so Balint, as you said, taking a3 is not an option. We need to take a look at something else. And we have a nice pin if we could bring the bishop to g4. So that is not protected. And if we start protecting it by playing h5, then he is not forcing in any way. It's not. It's threatening the pin, of course, but again, I don't see anything that would just. Andrew, there you are. Okay, nice. So here I really struggle. So let's see what else we could do. I think the bishop on e4 looks kind of ugly, especially if I play f5. Andrew, you meant f5 here. Now I get it.
For now, yeah.
Alrighty.
Sorry, I interrupt you. He said for this one exactly f5.
Yes, it was. I thought it was the pawn move in the position before, but that was not f5. But it was f5, wasn't it? Well, anyway, we don't care. So here I would also play trapping the bishop here with f5. Only option he basically has is to take something with him while he goes down.
Yeah, and that is not enough for the future.
Yes. Okay. So Andrew, if we play a game, it is now 1-1, I'd say. Okay. Okay. Next variation. Okay. Yes.
What is coming next?
It's Shamjaran Tsudipov versus Maxim Matlakov. Okay, nice name, Shamjaram. Okay, so again, going to the game here. It's white to play, and let's see what
You pronounce that even better than my name. So I'm super
sorry,
satisfied.
Balint. I'm sorry.
This one. No, do not do that. It's okay. It's perfectly fine.
Okay.
This guy beat me with my with the name with the difficult.
Okay, so
Yeah, what do we have here? Mm-hmm.
when I can chase his queen away, I have a lovely knight that I win. If he needs to retreat to a7, I smell a back rank mate. So let's see if this is possible somehow. Pawn to b4 maybe? That would threaten the queen and attack the knight. So he has to go away with the queen, and if he likes to keep his knight, Then he goes to a7. And if we have that, we only need to get the knight out of the way for the back rank mate on d8. But
that fact is crucial for this example. I'm sorry. That fact, when queen step on a7 square, she just blocked the exit for the king. And yes, you need to find a way how to use that back rank story.
I think without the back rank, we could just go knight to c2. So we have a double attack on the knight and the back rank mate threat. And he cannot defend both threats.
Also, even stronger way to do that is knight b5. But the same
I
story.
thought about knight b5, but then he... Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I didn't think about the when I did that calculation with the knight on b5, I was so single-mindedly only looking at the mate that I didn't take a look at the double attack on the knight that came later. Okay, so
Exactly. Exactly. Immediately, that is the consequence after that knight b5. First of all, checkmate threat, kind of discover attack. Also, knight c2 is completely fine, I believe. Every time, really rarely, we have positions where you can play several moves. Even several moves, that is almost impossible. Sometimes we have choice between two moves, and in 90% you must pick one, and just one way is right way. In this situation, I believe both ways works, and that is in, as I said, really rare percentage of that doubts situation where to go. Will I play with my knight here or here? Will I attack him for left side or right side? Usually we have some reasons why this not the second choice. But in this position, I believe both moves lead you into the same ending. That is, you will take his knight, and
then we
will
have
be piece plus. Yeah,
and then we have the 50-50 chance. Like, do we get an alternative? Alternative means it's a super move,
as I
but not
told
the
you
one
earlier,
exact.
every time is a B variation. Do not
Yes.
ask me why, just pick that B. So knight c2 is probably variation A. I believe knight b5 is the best one. That is a B solution.
There came something super strange. It is the queen to... okay, so I think I have to calculate again. I didn't think a single second about this. I don't like to lose my queen, of course, and I think a single exchange of the queens is also not the solution here. So
yeah, this is strange. I was super confident I found that, and also I didn't mention it at this moment. But geometrical reasons, knight is very badly spotted there on a3, and very very nice study with how to dominate knight. Basically, you are just searching some geometrical stuffs. Imagine, look at how your queen dominate knight, right? Every square, every forward jump square is protected, by the lady. So you need to push to transfer your bishop on that square, and you have a force way to do that.
I need to transfer my bishop to the square. Which one is the square?
That's d3 square.
Yeah, so basically, isn't it just protecting on e2?
And the question is how to put bigger pressure on that queen. Another attack, like we have unprotected queen, so protect her in the same time threatening. That ping pong story, table tennis story. So punch and counter punch and counter punch, and at one moment, no defense. So action reaction low. He attacks your unprotected piece, bring something, force him to do again something forced, one forced move, lead you into the winning position because knight is completely trapped and stuck there on a3 square. No exit for him.
Yeah. So I take a look at chat, not to forget if there is something. No, it's not. So maybe Andrew also doesn't see it. We'll see. And here I'm kind of stuck.
Andrew, help us, please.
Yeah. So I will just go through the ideas that I have here. What I think could be very nice is of course the knight on c6 check, but that would be useless as the pawn could just take it. So, or the queen could take it, but
or queen can take
yeah. So that doesn't make sense at all. So I missed queen c4 also. Yes.
Strange tactic, but you have, like you said, one ply, three ply in front. So this this one needs, you just need to find one, and it's strange tactical maneuver, but super effective. Also, this was a very fancy move, queen c4, played for black. Of course, avoiding our simple story with the discover attack knight c2 or knight b5.
Yeah, we just too simple. Yeah. So,
but still, the problem for black, the problem is not solved, right? Knight is still hanging there. That's the main problem on a3. So on this provocation, you just need to respond with a counter provocation, counter punch, and black goes down.
Yeah, and I only have to find it. So let me find it. What can we do here? That doesn't work. That doesn't work. So the knight is probably out of the equation. I don't see anything because the queen is under attack and not protected. So we either have to protect it, but if we protect it only, it's not a... Well, it is. But if he takes take, we just have an exchange. But if we exchange, then it is as you said, the knight is terribly trapped. So here I really would play bishop e2. It's an attack on the queen, and if he exchanges, we still get the knight in the next move then.
Exactly.
Okay. But the pattern of bishop e2, queen takes d3, b takes d3 was nicely explained as then knight f3 is trapped. Andrew, big thumbs up. Alrighty. Okay, very good. Oh, here we have text this time. Rescuing the knight from a3 will not be possible. Ne6. This was played in the game, although white still went on to the win. Okay, so instead of the pawn, he played this one here. Okay. Okay. So next variation, mating patterns. Just like in regular chess, checkmate ends the game. Okay, so let's see if we can get a checkmate somehow here. And we start with the checks. This all needs to be forced usually. So we check with the rook on e7, check. So as there is no escape square and it cannot be taken, and nothing can be, nothing can be put in between. The king cannot move away. He has to take. So the king takes takes the rook on e7. Now the next check would be to.
No next check.
Yeah, next check is the knight on f5 check, and let's see, he cannot run away.
I thought you are speaking about first move and potential how to get how to give check after first move, but no. The point is, the only way how you can give a check is rook e7.
Yes.
So organize that, arrange that. You have idea. Sort her properly and break the black defense.
Okay, we take, he takes. Then we need to find the next forcing move, and that would be the knight to f5 check. And here he has several ways to get rid of the attack. That would be taking with the pawn or just running away this time. So
how we can involve one more piece in this whole combination? The general of the white pieces. She must be included in this position.
So then I think if we don't check immediately, it is just taking the knight on c4 and making way for the queen on e3.
One very, very useful maneuver.
Free
up the square, giving another possibilities to bring the strongest piece into the vulnerable territory around black king.
Yes, correct. And Balint, for me, it's just a matter of how fast can I calculate. Yeah, like here I tried the checks first method, and I saw it doesn't work out. So I saw there is too many ways to get out of that mating net, and then I would have gone for and now we are checking for the takes, and then this would have been the next one then. Yes. Okay. So I believe that's good.
To accelerate your thoughts about this position, make a wish on the board. Try to make a wish. What do you want? Break the rules. Enter into the matrix. Just I want this and this. Put the pieces how you want. That final situation every time lead you into the checkmate around the king. So as you can see, e7 is a one provocative square where you are forcing him to go out. Then imagine how you can bring some, in this case, the strongest piece on some square. So break the rules, and later you will settle the pieces of these puzzles on the proper way. So what do you want at the end? What is the final story around the king? How that king could be checkmated, and where is that crucial square which you are aiming for?
Yes, the queen to e3, and that's why we
and later the queen on e3, and later where she'll end up.
Yes.
After e3, where she goes. Can you see the final square?
After e3? Well,
so imagine
basically we don't have to go anywhere. We just checkmate him, don't we? Ah, wait a
No, no,
second.
no.
There is an idea. So if he brings up the pawn after the queen goes to e3, he has an escape square before that. So where do I want it? Basically, I want the queen on e7. That would be nice, protected by the rook.
On e6, also protected by the pawn. That is more realistic. And with that story, queen, we have a very nice situation. Queen and bishop making that X.
Balint, I don't know if you know, but isn't I don't know. I'm calculating so much slower than you do. So if I would bring the queen out now to e3, he can basically bring the pawn and then escape with the king, I think. So it would be better maybe to now just give a check with the
Exactly.
with
So
the
if
rook.
you are not giving check
He
in
needs
first
to
moment,
take. Mm,
you
he,
can you can you can check possibility to give another check in second move.
mm,
It's not necessary. You also played forced move. Knight c4 is a forced move. You took a piece. You threat with a threat knight d6 discover. So black has to react, and that is piece up. That is a big material. So cannot ignore that knight trades. Black played, of course, bc4 forced move, and now again you can research again possibilities how to get check, how to give check, how to arrange some checkmate net, and
yes.
you'll
Okay.
fast, you'll find that really fast.
Yeah. So we just take here, and now the queen.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have a lovely checkmate on
Exactly that
e6.
final. So
If he.
if you can literally teleport the pieces,
Mm,
you can accelerate some possibilities. So how in the best possible scenario, how to reach this type of position, and then later you
mm,
just this is 4, I want 4 3 2 1. Basically you are just uh,
mm.
separate one by one move, and as you said, you need to calculate reply in front.
At least, yes. Okay.
At
And
least, yeah.
Balint, short question to you. So this is a checkmate with the queen on e6, and if the king would have gone to d7 instead, it would also be checkmate. And there
Exactly.
is a name for that checkmate pattern. I learned it, but I forgot it. So basically,
Bravo. Honestly, I don't know. I just knew that first one, Anastasia checkmate,
okay.
probably was better. I didn't mention that now. I'm
Mm.
just
Okay.
shaking. I don't know the other
Mm.
patterns, but
Mm.
um,
Mm.
you know, I said that earlier. If you step with your queen beside the opponent king, usually like in that small 3x3 kid game Xox, we have that story that there where queen takes 7 squares
Mhm.
out of 9 uh, around king, and we have that bird tail in
There
that
we have it.
final position,
Yes, that's it. Mm.
c7 and d6, so he cannot go out. Also,
Mm.
c6 is covered by the pawn, everything else is protected by the lady. So usually if you reach some square, queen beside king on every 8 squares around him, she
Mhm.
basically takes 7 out of 9 squares. So big possibility to to conclusion that we are on the right way.
Yes. Okay, good. I think we can
Yeah,
move on, right?
yeah, of
And
course.
we already have 36 out of that, 36% out of the last chapter. Okay,
That
so
I
it's
believe we
Ruslan
solved.
Solzhenitsyn versus Hoshor. White to
Uh-huh.
play. Okay, so
Okay.
let's see. have so many great ideas already, but well, the first idea obviously is taking the rook on f7, but I think there's a mate somewhere, and I exactly know where it is. It is coming in with knight to g6.
Exactly.
Yeah. So if I go knight g6, he has two options. He can move the king,
King on g8.
but if he does that, I can just take his rook on. Yeah, here I win material, but I don't checkmate him. Yeah, so I would first.
Okay. You can. Sorry. Yeah. Finish your
I
thought.
would probably first take the. Well, it doesn't matter. I just win a rook, so I cannot get
No.
both rooks.
It is matter. Again, it is matter. It's not. You must pick. You must find the order. How you will. Which one goes down first.
Move
If you
order is
take the.
so often a thing here for me. Okay, let's again try. So we go g6, check. He goes out of the way to g8. Then I can check him with the bishop, and he would probably take with the rook. Otherwise, I would take his rook in the next move. And then we have this and that.
Take f7. Can you take the other one?
If I take on f7, I cannot take the other one because he would first take mine.
Because of that reason, you should take the second one first.
Okay, and the second is the one on f8. So I take that one first, and he takes with the rook. So
no, he cannot. No. That is very important fact. He cannot take that with his rook because his rook is still pinned.
Yes, and that is visualization that I often miss. And you are right, it is pinned and cannot take. So he has to take
g8. So basically, try to with visualization, you must erase the past. Erase this position, erase in your mind. That is just a starting. That is a spark, and that goes. You need to follow that. That was past. That is just the first moment, and no exist anymore. So you are going after that. What is happening? So try to move that pieces, give them life, and that is much easier. Forget about this position. This position that is a starting spot. Install this picture in your mind, and later move that from your head. Literally, do not use anymore your eyes.
Yeah, it's difficult. It's really difficult, and I have to train that for sure more. Okay, so I take on f8, and he has to take with the queen or the king.
Or king, or anyway, he cannot take that with his rook. So in that case, that is a big material, and you'll take two quality. Knight for the rook on f8 and bishop from d5 for the rook on f7. Two quality
and
up.
that is the solution, I think. If he takes with the pawn, let's check that version. Yeah, so I give him a check. He takes with the pawn. I retake with my pawn and attacking the king and the.
In that case, you just attack the rook, and the one that is less important fact in that position, you are moving directly with the thread. You open H file, so your general will be activated there with deadly effects on his king.
Yeah. So I just check again. So g6 with the knight, check. He takes with the pawn. I take with the pawn. And then he basically
Need to cover
has
h5.
to go. Basically, queen comes up h5, correct? And then he is dead because he cannot get the rooks out of the way fast enough. And the checkmate is on h7 with the queen.
Unstoppable.
Lovely. Okay, that was a brain teaser for me, a brain fryer. It was tough. Okay, so but let's go.
That is a
Now he
story
did it.
like in classical chess, bishop sniper on a2 g8
Mm-hmm.
diagonal. When you have that situation, our job is just to open that A or H file, using that files like a back rank with reverse situation. If we reverse the story, that is a back rank without exit, without window for the
Mm-hmm.
king. Uh, that exit usually is on G8, but that square is protected, attacked by our bishop, our sniper on that A2 G8 diagonal. And that happens really often in classical chess, right? E4, E5, and immediately we have bishop C4 aiming on F7, later on the castle. Later we just want to open to attack on F7 or H7, as Wesley so mentioned at the beginning. In classical chess we have different type of weaknesses. F7 at the beginning protected only by the
Mm-hmm.
king, and
Mm-hmm.
H7 usually, standard battery, bishop, queen, give him a checkmate on H7. Uh, the same story, open the H file or A file, use that like as a back rank, reverse the picture, and that bishop sniper on a2 g8 diagonal provides control over that last exit spot g8 with
Mm-hmm.
a deadly effect. So after queen e5 or something, you can add some rook lift, rook f5, aiming the same end up with a queen h5.
Mm-hmm.
So when the king in that vulnerable, very ruined king structure, castle, that is of course coming with deadly effects.
Alrighty. So we go for the next one. And it is white to play. First I have to see what's happening on the board. That takes a while. So I'll take a look. Okay. So I have a lovely idea, of course, and I think it is b8 check. And then he has two squares to go to. And actually one square, sorry, my fault. It is d7. So, and if d7 had been played, then if I bring the oh, I'm still missing it. Okay, so if I then check him with a pawn on c6, he has to he has taking the pawn. He has e6, and that's it.
Exactly.
So we need to check both things here. So if he goes to e6, we just put the queen on c8, and it's a checkmate.
Or e8,
No, it's not
or
a checkmate yet, because he can still go to
you don't
f7.
need queen c8. If you want to stop his exit on f7, you can just give him a checkmate on e8 or g8. That's it. Problem solved, right?
Hold on, I need first to check here. This is gone, this is gone. Then we have that one, okay. Yes, Balint, that is correct. Okay.
Yeah,
So
but
then we have to check the other way. So what happens if he takes the pawn on c6? Then he takes the pawn on c6, and here I'm unsure. I could give him another check now on knight to e7 check, and he has one square to escape to. That is back to d7, and if he goes back to d7, we have a problem because the knight is not protected and the queen cannot give a checkmate. I don't see it now. So what? Basically, we could just play queen takes c7 check. So then the no, that doesn't work. Of course, I'm just dreaming here. So he goes
yes,
back.
sometimes your thoughts are completely dislocated because you are going so deep without fundamental basic facts.
Mm-hmm.
You the try to fix your thoughts with that ideas. If I manage that, to force him to come
Mm-hmm.
on e6, right? That is deadly effect. Queen
Mm-hmm.
e8 or queen g8 checkmate. So your problem, your problem was that fact he can take on c6,
Mm-hmm.
and the first move you immediately made mistake. So if you fix that and you don't allow him to take on c6, no problem.
With the first move, you meant the queen to b8 or the pawn to
Yeah,
c6?
through this variation you literally paint on the board what you want. That is a checkmate when he
Balint.
needs on his e6
Mhm.
square. I'm sorry.
Balint. A8 might be nice because it still protects c6.
Exactly, with the same effects, and you are
Mm.
completely, you reach that moment when you have forced checkmate picture. That is a moment when you push his king to step on e6, and as you can see, knight is covering d6 and d7 square. The pawn on c6 still protects d7 square, and you have two checkmates: queen e8 checkmate or queen g8 with the same effect. So force him. Do not, go so wide about, options and possibilities. You through this variation you reach that moment when you have a checkmate. Try
Mm-hmm.
to fix that situation, and you immediately after my first sequence, first few words, you immediately said, oh, why not queen a8? So why not? And
Mm-hmm.
try to make that easier. Think positive. You found a good checkmate picture.
Mm-hmm.
Focus on that and try to see is how you can fix that force, how you can arrange that to reach that final moment.
Mm-hmm.
As so queen a8, of course, is a much easier path, avoiding all unnecessary calculation what is going on if you goes on b8.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what I always do is I try to finish my calculation to see, okay, this is not working. And then I start again from the start, putting in consideration what I found out with my first
That is not
calculation.
working. Maybe instead of that doesn't works. Try to go with this philosophy. I want to find something what is perfect for me,
Mm-hmm.
and give them that form. Instead of tap 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 tap, maybe that final position, as I said earlier, pick a perfect square. use a teleport for your queen. Immediately transfer her, break the rule, enter into the matrix, and arrange at the end best option how you want. Make a wish, as I said. So in this case, again, make a wish. Your wish is to push the king on e6 and completely try to focus about that, how it's possible to manage that, instead of wasting some energy to tap. Yes, of course, that is good model, but maybe you'll accelerate your thoughts and make that calculation path easier for your mind uh, if you make a wish, make a perfect position, and then you'll see, oh, this is the path how I can force that perfect situation. So keep that position, do not let her out, from your mind. And through that concept, of course, fighting for black pieces to avoid that uh, deadly situation, you'll see, oh, that is not possible, and that goes forced with this, and at the end you'll see that perfect situation you manage, you imagine at the beginning, is possible to be arranged, and you can do that.
Yes.
So of course, yeah,
Sometimes, Barland, not sometimes, but most of the times, I'm not yet used to finding this perfect situation. Yeah, so and sometimes I don't see what is the perfect situation. Yeah, and this will hopefully come over time, but it's a very good concept. I follow you.
So try to imagine, if you will play for black pieces, maybe the worst moves. If you play the best move for white and worst moves for black, that is the way how you will very fast paint perfect situation, right? That perfect checkmate. Then you just goes back. You have a number 4. You go 4, 3, 2, 1 instead of 1 and 4 options, and then bam, bam, bam. You need to cut off. Instead of that, reach that top, and then path how you climb there. Reversible situation. 4, 3, 2, 1 instead of climbing 1, 2, 3, 4. Reach that top, that perfect situation, and then you can see what is the path, how to manage that very fast. It's much easier because you know what you want, you know how, you saw that picture from the top. Okay.
Alrighty. So we have a congratulations from Chessable because I set a goal to study 1 hour on Chessable every day. So they, with the gamification, they motivate me. Great job, keep it up, continue. Okay, so Balint, I don't know about you. I need to drink something. My head is hot from thinking, and I need to drink something. Hold on.
Maybe you hear that already. I took some water, of course, earlier because I speaking so much, and I'm staying without. I need to hydrate myself.
Yes. So Andrew, he left us off to bed, which is probably also a good idea. Hold on. So next variation. Pins and unpins. It's important to be particularly alert for normal tactics in Fischer Random. The unusual placement of the pieces can trick our pattern recognition, so you should always be ready. Pins and skewers play a big part in Fischer Random, like in every chess game, I believe. Okay, so black to play. This time it is black to play. We are probably looking for pins and skewers. Okay, so I have an idea, maybe, because the first idea is, of course, to take the knight, but then we get pinned by the white bishop taking b5, and that is an absolute pin because the king is behind it. And that's why I think it could be nice to first play c5. c4. But if we do that, the knight could just snag our b8 bishop. So
The first question is that bluff? Because usually, especially on lower level, someone doesn't see the complete three plies
Balint, I
in front.
have a super nice idea, I think. Yes, it is a lovely idea. It is, I just take the knight, yeah, and if he pins me, I just go with my bishop to c4 because it's protected by the rook. And then that's the solution for sure. Okay, nice.
Meaning that rook, because you directly strikes on the bishop, who is the main
Yes.
reason why it can be moved. All right, that is correct.
Balint. Woohoo! Okay, so next variation.
So this could be added in some chapter, traps and counter traps. So seems like oh yeah, you are stuck and you are trapped, but then a very heavy repunch, how to say, and that counter breaks that pinning with deadly effects for white in a previous situation.
Yes.
Of course, you can see he's some provocative story every time is something's hanging, right? And you all the time you should check, is that a bluff or not, you know. With the simplest situation, what if I take? Of course, you are aware that could be that is I'm sorry, that could be a that is a, how to say, some danger moment, but check that, you know, that is every time useful. First contact, what if I take? I need to check,
Yes.
is there any consequences for a simple.
And remember, I always think only 2 plies. I don't think 3. This was a special occasion, a perfect example for that. Yes.
So wait for me to calculate, is there 2 plies enough or not?
Yes. Balint, I have an idea. I mean, we are just 50% through this chapter. Yeah. And I believe it would also take us like at least 1 hour to get the rest done. I still have to do the World Championship recap. So I think this would be a perfect moment to postpone the rest of the chapter and the course to next week, if that is okay with you.